In this episode, my guest co-host and I watch a new-to-us ghost hunting show that explores my nightmare/dream ghost hunting site, the Missouri State Penitentiary. The place is scary to look at, and what they ended up capturing is even scarier. Enjoy. I'm just a girl in front of a mic, asking people to watch weird shit with me. Welcome to... Wait, what are you watching? Hello and welcome to another episode of Wait, What Are You Watching? A paranormal comedy podcast where I call out into dark, vast hallways to try and convince humans and non-humans alike to watch a strange documentary with me and then come back on the show to talk about it. I'm your host, Elaine, and today I'm joined by a crowd favorite, my resident co-host from the most listened to episode according to Spotify Wrapped in 2023.
What?
He's also a dark fantasy author and co-host of Not a Life Coach podcast, which may or may not still be going on. Joseph.
What up, girl?
Welcome to the show once again. That was a hell of an intro for you. Lots of things going on.
Yeah, you know, I was telling you when we just got on the phone right now that fourth quarter is a nightmare for me because everything happens all at once, including a book launch and you know, you're talking about our other podcast. Like we went on hiatus because I was like, girl, I don't have time. And she was like, I don't have time either. I'm in the middle of a doctoral program. Well, you know, my book is released. I just finished the audiobook last week. So I am done. And today Debbie got her doctorate in leadership. Yes. And I was like, girl, we're back. So, Saturday morning, girl. It's back.
All right.
It's back on.
It's back. Can you believe our rantings on the Vatican, girl, was the most coveted, the most listened to episode on Spotify Wrapped?
It's gratifying because you remember that was the episode where you're like, let's just watch this. And then we found out that it was like 4 hours long.
Yes. It was a series because fucking Netflix can't just do one documentary anymore. We have to stretch it out to 4 episodes. But it was a great documentary. So I don't blame the people for listening. It was a great documentary.
Yeah.
And your book is fresh off the presses.
Yes.
Listeners, find a link of it in the description in my recommendations on waitwhatpodcast.com. So it is doing fantastic, and you have an audiobook, right?
Yeah. The hardest thing I've ever done in my life happened during this quarter. Like, I just thought it'd be so easy, you know, being a podcast host and, you know, coming on all these shows. I figured, I could just read my own words off the screen into a microphone. Easy peasy. What a fool I was. It was the most difficult thing I've ever done. I'm really, really proud of the job I did and the final product. But my God, it took forever to finish.
Yeah, it's weird how like you think about reading and you're like, I read, it's fine, I can do it. But it's so different when you're reading aloud because I feel like my brain goes faster than my mouth.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. So
I could not get every syllable out of these lips. It was driving me crazy. Like every sentence probably has 10 takes. It drove me insane for a while. I was like, maybe I should just call somebody to do it. I'm like, fuck this. But I finished and it's actually a really, really well done. And I'm so proud of it.
Well, I think like all the hard work when you finally finish, it's like so satisfying. So cannot wait. So guys, pick up the hard copy or the audiobook with the author reading the book himself in at 3 a.m. you guys.
Yeah, I would wake up in the middle of the night because it's the only time it's quiet here. You know, I live with my 91-year-old mother and she bangs on every fucking surface in this house all day long. I'm like, I just have to wait till she's unconscious, I guess. So I did it.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. So now, you know, when we're on here, we know exactly who we want to probe or who we want to probe us. So I actually decided to ask my followers on Instagram a probe question, and we would like agree, disagree, and give our own 2 cents. My probe question was something. Oh, wait. This is the probe, and here is the intro. Da, 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 da. It's the probe. Oh no, it's just questions. It has nothing to do with your butt. Stop bending over. You're making it weird. Okay. I gotta make room for the intro. So my probe question was something that I'd already asked you. Like if you were on a ghost hunt, you could invite one celebrity to go with. Who would you pick? Duh.
Duh.
And so I asked the listeners and they answered. So, and I'm gonna ruin these Instagram handles, so don't come at me. You guys have the weirdest fucking names. So, Moni Karmlik said they want the cast of Supernatural. Now, I don't watch that show. Do you?
um, no, but I know about the very, very beautiful young men that are on it.
Then that's it. That's why. That's why. Okay, so that's fine. Who is? I think I know exactly what you're talking about. There's like they're brothers on the show.
Right, they're like these two hot guys, and they're into chasing up whatever. I didn't actually follow the plot because they were so beautiful. I just kept staring.
Which one? Which one would you like? The short-haired one? I know there's a longer-haired one, the younger brother.
I resent your question and refuse to make choices. Why can't I have both? It's sort of like when people ask me if I'm a top or a bottom. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Why commit?
Why would I only be one thing, you fool?
I like to have, what's that? What was Meryl Streep in that movie? Oh my God, never mind. Sophie's Choice. I like to have Sophie's Choice.
No, 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 no. There are no Nazis involved here. We're doing everything. So get it
Okay,
together.
so both. All right. So Moni Karmelik did not want to pick either. She said the cast. Okay, girlfriend was
Get
ready.
it, girl. I fully support they.
And then Stoned Sally, she said Dan Aykroyd because he's super into the paranormal and he comes from a spiritual family. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I have seen Ghostbusters 675,000 times.
And apparently that was the inspiration. Like he is super into ghosts and I guess the background of his family. And he's been on a couple podcasts talking about like, UFOs and aliens. He's super into it.
Who
I would
knew?
actually like to have him on my show when I had that oh my God, I don't want to say that girl from Wonder Years, but Karen, I cannot think right now, guys. I just got off work.
I do not have memory
It's
recall right now.
6 o'clock. Diabo.
Dia,
Olivia Diabo.
that was
Olivia
her.
Diabo. Yeah, that
Good
was her.
old.
So good old Olivia. So when she was here, she was like, "You need to have Dan Aykroyd on your show." I'm like, give me his number then. You're the one with the connects. Like, come on. So Dan Aykroyd, okay. And then Emily K said Stephen King.
Okay. I mean, no, I'm not here to talk shit too much, but I'm afraid of Stephen King. I wouldn't go
Ex-
anywhere. Stephen
That's what
King's
I
fucked
was
up.
saying. And Emily K didn't say anything, just Stephen King. And I kind of get it. Like but he's already creepy.
Yeah, no,
He,
that's like
okay.
inviting the demon to the ghost show. I'm not doing that.
Exactly. Like even like looking at him. I mean, I love Stephen King. I read all his books. He's influenced me a ton, but he is himself a little scary looking.
I am sure he is the most wonderful, sweet, gentle, warm person in this world. But he also kind of fucking creeps me out when he talks, and I'm certainly afraid of that brain. So, no.
Yes. I think that's it. I think I know what came out of that brain. I've read what came out of that brain,
There's going to be a
and
lot of
that's
people in a very brightly lit room with security agents on the borders before I have a conversation with Mr. King.
exactly. And then we had Trisha's Italy, who actually didn't say the celebrity. She wanted to go to a haunted place, which she didn't understand the question, but that's okay because Trisha's Italy is awesome. She's a ride or die. She had the Spotify Wrapped, and I was her number one podcast.
Oh,
So, oh, here it is. She wanted to go to the Eastern State Penitentiary, and she said that place is creepy even during the day, which kind of like works into what we are going to talk about today. But she didn't say a celebrity. Probably she's married. She's had a baby. She's not about it. She's like, I don't want to think about a fucking celebrity going with me to a haunted place.
yeah. Like the celebrity I'm bringing needs to be there to protect me. That's how Mr. Henry Cavill got invited to our party.
Exactly. He's there to protect, and he's not bad to just like be bored with
Right.
if nothing happens.
Right. We could have a conversation and I can enjoy so many other parts of the evening if no ghosts show up.
Exactly. He is useful in a lot of ways. And then the last one, Chimichurro said Alan Ritchson, and I didn't know who that was, and he put the Reacher. So I
What?
guess it's okay, so I looked it up for us. It's the guy from a show called The Reacher. It was a book. And I looked him up, and I have to say, Chimichurro, that's him.
Oh, fuck. Chimichurro, son, we understand each other.
So yeah, so I Alan Ritchson is now in our lives, and
Be following all his works going forward.
my God, he looks like an Oscar award-winning actor to me.
Slash OnlyFans model.
So Chimichurro, I might have to join you on that on that ghost hunt. Now, imagine having that guy and Cavill. Holy
No,
shit. Okay, this is not that kind of podcast, Joey.
it would be
Damn
an
it.
excellent game of spades while we waited.
Okay, I must not have worded this right. There was a couple of late entries. One is from you, Gerard. No, thank you. Can it be during the day? And then another one is from 3XL underscore Gardicus, also known as my guest co-host Garrett from a few episodes back. He said the Queen Mary. What I said was, if you could do a ghost hunt in a haunted place and could pick one celebrity to go with you, who would it be? And I think that got twisted somehow. No hate. Thank you guys for participating.
Okay, so I gave you the documentary, and actually, this was suggested by Lisa, right?
Was
Was it
it?
Lisa who suggested?
Oh, that
Remember,
makes
you
more
texted.
sense.
You might have been drunk
Oh,
because you
might? What do you
texted
mean?
me.
I texted you from a bar.
Yeah, right. So you were drunk. It was Lisa and somebody else suggested watching Portals with Jack Osbourne.
Okay. This is all coming back to me. So, me and my friend Lisa and Fran. Fran is the woman I went to that haunted Whaley house down the street with that, senses ghosts. She's the heroine in one of my novels. We went to this Wolves restaurant in LA, downtown LA,
Okay.
in October, and upstairs from was already like a haunted themed patisserie. They had a haunted pop-up bar, and we were sitting there and we were having all these amazing cocktails one after another. And then I always, when I'm with them, force them to talk to me because one or both of them are going to have this amazing idea. Their great ideas only come when they're drunk, by the way. And
Wonderful.
so like she said it, and I was like, hold on, if I don't text you now, I'll never remember this. And I didn't until just now when you reminded me of it.
So you at least when you're drunk, you know you're drunk and you need to do it.
I know all about myself and my limitations.
You know yourself.
Yep.
So yes, I had heard of Jack Osbourne having a show. Never saw the show. And then I saw the first episode, and I'm like, okay, I want to choose the Missouri State Penitentiary because I had spoken of the Missouri State Penitentiary before and how I want to go there because they have literally overnight ghost hunts.
Yeah. I got to tell you, now I love that Jack Osbourne is in this. I didn't know he was there either. She may have said it to me and I may have texted to you while I was drunk, but my conscious mind didn't know this until it came on. And I was looking through like the HBO Max application inside the Apple TV. He's got like 13 different series in there. Like there's so much content. I'm like, how the fuck did I never know this? Probably because you told me while I was drunk.
Oh, true. And I didn't either. And I try to watch all the ghost shows. And most of the time it's like one episode and I'm kind of out of it because I have a really high bar with ghost hunters. They're my favorite.
Yeah.
This one really was really good. Okay, so before we get into it, to the listeners, we watched Portals to
Hell.
to Hell
Yeah.
with Jack Osbourne,
And what's her
Ozzy's
name?
kid, and Katrina something or other.
Who's fabulous.
She's great. And so they went to the Missouri State Penitentiary, um, which opened in 1830, which was state of the art penitentiary. But by 1917, there were news of inhumane conditions. And that is how all of this starts.
Yeah. Can I just say,
Yes.
I hate movies about prison. I hate the idea of prison. I could watch Shawshank Redemption and logically say, what an amazing film, well written, well thought of. Mr. Stephen King is a psychopath. And I hate everything that happens in prison. I hate movies about prison. I hate TV shows about prison. I refuse to watch them. So when you sent this to me and I said, sure, I did not know what I was saying sure to until I got home last night and turned the fucking thing on. I'm like, oh, fuck, Elaine.
What is it about prison? Is it the
It does not work for me. It's if you're looking for actual horror in this world, there's abuse, there's horrible sexual abuses that happen to people. And one of the most reliable places to experience that is in a prison.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm just not down with it.
Okay. So
what I will say though,
what?
Is that I absolutely loved this episode.
Great. I'm glad that at the very least, this was like the moment where like I don't know certain things about you, Joey. Like I didn't know the prison thing. And the one time you came to stay at my house, I didn't know you couldn't handle spice. And we gave you spicy sausages. These are the moments.
When I go to Thai restaurants, they ask me what level spice. I'm like 1 out of 10, please.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We just gave you like the hottest sausages and you powered through it. You could have said no. We could have gotten something else.
I have a lot of pride, so.
My goodness. So, okay, I did not know that you were not about prisons.
I'm not about prisons.
If I didn't have anything about for prison, which I don't, the Missouri State Penitentiary would give me that because the way that it's even laid out is such a movie, right?
Oh, for real.
It's like very tall, like stone buildings. The entrance looks ominous. Like I can only imagine like being, sent to jail and then you driving up to this fucking jail.
I mean, it's a Gothic structure. So like from the beginning, you're like, oh, Christ, what horror film am I about to watch?
Yeah, it's really scary. And they were known for their solitary confinement, which was basically you're in pitch black darkness, that it was so dark. They said that eventually some prisoners went blind for being in the darkness. What?
They put you in a room by yourself with no toilet, with no water, and no light of any kind, and left you there for years upon years until the cells in your eyeballs stopped producing and stopped working.
That is so fucking disturbing to me.
Yeah.
Because you know how they said like there was a way to like kind of make you go insane by just depriving you of all your senses.
Exactly. You couldn't see time. You couldn't hear. You could only hear the sound of your breath. That's how horrible it was.
Oh my God. So if anything's going to be fucking haunted, it has to be this. So when they were talking to the tour guides there, they were talking about shadows, of course, full-bodied apparitions, and they showed pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely creepy. There are ghosts that will push you, grab you, cold spots. The kind of I guess the manager, supervisor, whatever. He said there's both residual and intelligent hauntings.
Right.
And that they were having construction, I guess, because there was a tornado that went through.
Yes. A tornado came through one day and ripped the roof off of it. So they had to close down until they could get to the point where they could replace the roof just, for the safety reasons, because it's still, it's an attraction now in Missouri, like for people who like haunted attractions, they go to this place.
Yeah. And so I guess, as we all know, when you do construction, it brings out some shit.
What did she say? Something like, well, they've been without anybody here for about 4 years, so they got lonely.
I know, right? That's why they want people to come back.
Right.
So allegedly this is in housing unit number 4, which is the most haunted. The prison guard that was, I think this was housing unit 4, that there was a prison guard that was stabbed 69 times and then stuffed under a bunk.
Well,
Fantastic.
again, if you're in that environment, you go insane. And so, of course, you're just going to
Yeah.
harm people as, extravagantly as possible.
Especially a prison guard who,
Right.
is technically your enemy.
And the representative of all the pain you're suffering.
Yes. And we actually had some kind of notorious people stayed there, like James Earl Ray.
Oh,
Um,
girl.
I know. So he went to prison there from 66 to 67, and then when he got out, he killed Dr. Martin Luther King
Right.
after he escaped.
Yeah.
And that was in housing unit 3. Another thing that they were seeing was some guy with long blonde hair, a white t-shirt, kind of like just walking around, and people have seen and given the same description. And I'm saying this now because later on he gets mentioned again because he's an
Right.
intelligent entity, I guess. So there's just all kinds of shit that happens in this one. I think they call it the bloodiest 47 acres
Yeah. In America.
in
Um,
America.
like the when we were watching this, I thought the tour was going to be the highlight for some reason. I don't know why, because it was so scary.
Yeah.
But then when they went to do their investigation part, I had to turn on every fucking light in this goddamn room. I was like, how is this so scary?
Yeah. Because they were not overacting. They were
No,
like, right? They
right.
were just like chill.
Like, if you watch this show and you ever want to watch Zach Baggins again, I cannot help you because this show is the real thing. This is, if you want a good chill, if you want something interesting at the same time, this is the right show for you.
Yes. And I also highly recommend, and Joey, we will have to watch a Ghost Hunters with also the same place because they caught more shit.
Really,
So it is insane. So we might have to do like a Missouri State Penitentiary Part 2 Ghost Hunters.
you got it.
This they caught some shit. So here's the hilarious part. They bring in this guy named Chip Coffey, who was in the show that I did with Katie last episode. He was in Psychic Kids, and I kind of dissed him as a cranky gay. The
And
psychic medium.
he is a cranky queen. But I will tell you something. I believe this dude is the real deal.
Me too. Now I always thought that too, even in Psychic Kids, but he was cranky there. He seemed happier in this one. I
Well,
mean,
I
maybe
think
because it was a men's
it's his.
prison. I don't know.
It's one of his. No, it's one of his hags. He likes that girl.
Oh, right, because they're friends.
Yeah, he like they get to Kiki every time they go out on an adventure. So like he was down
Right.
with it.
Right. And before on Psychic Kids, he had to deal with kids, and I just don't think he's
And who
like
the fuck wants to do that?
I think he feels the same way.
Rent was due, girl.
So they did like what he did on Psychic Kids, where he goes to room and he does a psychic sweep. I love just watching his face because as he's walking in, he's just making these faces, and this is what I feel like he's so legit because he just walks in and he's just like, and then he goes, and then he yells, stacked in and stacked up. We're cattle. And he just yells it out.
It's sort of like when I walk into work every morning and I just give side eyes and shade at everything. But then he has like Tourette's where the ghosts, like everything that comes into his mind from the ghosts, he just repeats it at their volume.
Yes, because he like scared me. So like I'm like,
Yeah, I
oh.
was like, calm down here. I'm eating.
So he goes into that one where they saw the blonde Caucasian, or yeah, the Caucasian guy with the long blonde hair, which nobody told him about. So
Right.
he said, stacked in, stacked up, we're cattle, no one gives a fuck. And then he goes, I'm seeing a thin Caucasian guy, long blonde hair. And he, like basically describing who the tour guides were describing.
Right.
So immediately, like, he's super legit. And then he said, he murdered someone. And then apparently when he got there, he felt like he was done for and he gave up.
Like what I loved about him, what sold me on him was his delivery. He'd be like, he did this, he looked like that, and I'm not really sure why. Oh, yep, now I know. Oh, yeah, someone died.
Yes, right, right. Someone died. Yeah, like he's delivering like gossip and bad gossip, but gossip.
like like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost. Like,
Yes,
hello, is there a Paul here? Paul, yeah, Paul's here. Go ahead.
yes, that's exactly the energy he's giving is Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost. Like, oh. So they're walking around, and Chip is seeing like different things. Like he sees something dangerous. They also hear a door opening, and Chip is so concerned about this that he gets his holy water out.
Okay, so this is the part where I almost text you and said, "Hey, fuck you," because this wasn't just about ghosts. This is when our boy like he stopped throwing shade and said, shit, there's a demon here."
Yeah.
And when they bring out the D word, apparently all their approach changes because they are now in danger.
Right. So that's why he got the holy water because they're now in what's called the dungeon. And he heard in his head, and of course he screams it at Katrina, "Welcome to hell!" And he goes, he yells it, he goes, "Welcome to hell!" And he goes, "That's what I heard in my head."
Side note.
Side note, FYI. And it's all quiet too. He yells, and then and so he's saying there was he's such a I love him. Like in the beginning I was like thrown off by him in Psychic Kids, but now that I've seen Chip, I kind of want to work with Chip.
No, Chip is fucking amazing.
Chip is great. So the dungeon had non-human stuff, and apparently he said that there was a man there who was very dark, and apparently said like God deserted me, so I deserted God, and that he was the one that pulled something evil forward, like he was chanting and calling on Satan.
Right. He was actively worshiping Satan, and so the demons came through, and it's not just the one demon.
It's a lot. It's still
it's like a legion of demons. There's at least 6, and one of them is a major player.
And Chip, the way his delivery is just like, FYI, it's not scared. He's not screaming. He is concerned.
Right. He's also very composed because it's almost as if he knows they can hear him talking. So he's just sort of like waiting for moments to say it gently so that like he's not drawing attention to himself.
Yes. Almost like, you don't want to talk shit about someone when they're in the room.
Exactly.
So he's just like, they're here and
it's important.
It's important to note. And then a bat starts flying around.
Okay, so now this is where they got me. Like they had me, but this is where they got me because like for no reason. Like Count Dracula took to his bat form and just started flapping around them. And our homeboy just said, "Nope, goodbye." It just took his cute ass up the stairs. "I'm not getting rabies today."
Yes, it was so funny. I thought he was scared, but they're like, "Oh, Chip, you're just gonna go." He goes, "Yep, I'm not getting rabies." And so essentially that ended the psychic sweep.
Right.
So then they start setting up their cameras and instruments. And now I've never seen Jack Osbourne or Katrina, I've never seen them ghost hunt. I always expect the bro hunts, like not just Zach Baggins. There are other like ghost hunting shows that very much are like loud. They're bro. Did you see that?
Hyper masculine nonsense.
Yes, which is weird because they are so like scared, like especially like when I see women come on these shows, they're the least scared. I mean, they're scared, but they're very composed. You know what I mean?
No. This girl would never put up with that, and so Jack is like cool, like the whole time. Like he's like, "Wow, this is interesting." Like he's so interested in it, but he's, he might get a chill, but he's not gonna
scream.
Like, yeah, he's not gonna become aggressive about it. He's just gonna be like, "Oh, well, let's just follow this where it's going."
Yeah. In fact, in the beginning, when they were like going to different places. Jack wasn't saying a whole lot. He was just kind of like soaking it in.
Yeah.
So they go with the security guard, that because he's a security guard now, but they're using him to kind of trigger the ghost. I call him the trigger object. Imagine being a trigger object. Fuck.
Yeah. The guards are the triggers. Now, what was that machine that they had? That
Which
was
one?
the one that they set up that would hear the vibrations of sound that the ghosts were making, and there were like words coming through it. That was fucking excellent.
Oh, the spirit box. It was like a radio, and it was just
Yeah.
yeah. So that
And they
was the
would hear,
spirit box.
and like they would talk to the ghosts, and the ghosts would say things back. I was like, this is fucking incredible.
Yes. So they were they were asking the spirit box, and it says hit me. Like, because they were saying, they were kind of not being super aggressive, but they were kind of like, what are you gonna do? We have the security guard here, like, and kind of mildly threatening him. And the box says hit me several times, and then it told him to fuck off.
Yeah.
And then it completely stops. So it
Right.
wasn't random, really.
No.
And it was very clear. Yeah. And then when they were tapping, they asked it to tap back. And then they saw something lean. I think this is the scariest for me. If I saw something like lean out
Yeah.
and look, and they're like, do you
Right.
see that? There's a shadow and it's leaning out. Oh, hell to the no.
Now that was bad enough, but luckily you couldn't see anything in that. The one on the second floor,
God.
where the video actually catches the shadow thing moving. I was like, and we're done. It's a wrap. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God. So they go to the one building that had a lot of activity. And the minute they got there, there was activity. So by this time, they had asked, I guess the security guard left after that, right?
Mhm.
Didn't they?
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
And then they went to the dungeon and where something demonic was. And Jack said it stank now.
right. Now it smells like a dead animal down there.
Right. So then they went into, this kind of one room, and they're in the middle, and like the jail is like, all the jail cells are surrounding them. And as they're talking, there was a light that went on in one of the jail cells, like
One of the
randomly.
cells, the light just came on in almost as in response to the girl's questions.
Right. And then, oh wait, they also left uh flashlights on the stairs. And when they were
wasn't that after though? I'm losing the sequence here. I thought
it
they
might
were.
it might have been. You're right.
I think they started with that voice machine, and then they stayed in that room and like studied everything and asked questions and everything.
Yes.
And then once they had that, they're like, okay, well, we're moving on now. And that's when they went back down to the pit of hell. And that's when they set up for there. And then that's when the demons came, girl.
Oh my God. So like, I didn't see it when the guy went, oh my God, I thought I saw a shadow there. And they were all saying that they were seeing shadows, but they're like, where was it? And the light had been on in that cell. So you can see, they had it on camera. It was this weird thing above the door. There's nothing that could have cast a shadow, not a person. It was way too high. Am I right?
Yeah, right. No. It couldn't have been anything but what they said it was. Unless there was a raccoon that was walking by and nobody noticed it.
But it was a flat, it was like there was the door, and then it was just like a wall.
Right.
And then that's where the shadow was. So I don't know what it would have.
The shadow was on the wall, but the light was coming from below, pointed up.
Right.
So,
right.
like, you could not have made the shadow without you seeing what was making the shadow. And there was nothing there. And it moved like almost like something was scuttling and around. I don't know how you love the word scuttling, girl.
Ugh. I mean, I saw it and went, oh, it's fucking scuttling. Fuck that shit. It was awful. I was like, oh, and they played it. I'm like, oh my God, that's something. I would have shat my pants.
Yeah, that's that was when I was like, ooh, this is like, even if this is fake, they're doing a really great job. But then when they went down to the dungeon and Jack was setting up his flashlights and he started to
Right.
smell it, then they all came down together. This is when doors started slamming all around them.
Yes.
And like, I give the girl credit. She wasn't no punk ass bitch. Like, she kept walking up and saying, "Can you do that again? Can I hear that one more time?"
See, this is what I mean. Like, if that had been Zach Baggins, he would have left Aaron there and
Right.
went back to the car and screamed the entire time.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean, it's just a thorn in my side that this guy has the most watched ghost hunting show, and he absolutely sucks at it. And yet Katrina and Jack Osbourne are just pulling out all kinds of quality here.
Oh my God, it was so good. Like, I almost had like, I was like, I wonder if they have like a Facebook page or an Instagram or something. If I could text them and tell them about Elaine, because Elaine needs to go with them.
Oh my God. So that is my first thing on the agenda. I mean, obviously the Whaley House, because it's close to you and I need to go
Right.
to the Whaley House. It's closer. But second is this Missouri State Penitentiary, because I've seen so much on it. And the fact that like the tours are so like insanely cheap for what they are, per person. Like it could be a good, I don't know, would you go? No, huh?
I wouldn't go to Missouri if wild dogs dragged me there, but I would absolutely encourage you to go.
Do you want to Zoom just like this?
I will Zoom with you in Missouri.
Because I feel like this is what it would look like. Me in the dark.
For listeners, Elaine is sitting in a dark car. There's just like one tiny beam of the street lamp shadow on the side of her face. I'm just staring at darkness.
I am a professional, if not anything else. Yeah. So so I think you need to watch Ghost Hunters, the Missouri State Penitentiary too, because the one
Okay.
thing I have to say that was missing. Oh yeah, and then of course we forgot about the flashlights when they put
Oh,
it on the stairs.
right. Like he puts a flashlight and it goes off.
Yeah.
And
They said
then
if
they're
you
like,
touch it.
yeah, if someone touches the flashlight, it turns off. And then they're like, do that again. And it didn't do anything. And then they left the room and it came back on. I was like, girl,
Mm-mm.
I don't like this show.
Mm-mm. Like the intelligent spirits are really scary
Yeah.
because the residual ones, it's like, okay, that's just like a tape on a loop.
Right.
They don't know what's going on. It's just like energy on a loop. It's just a guy clocking into work every day, you know?
Right.
But the intelligent ones are the creepy ones, the ones that tell you to F off, the ones that like I can't get that shadow out of my head.
The hardest one for me was when the queen was like going through and he walked into this little alcove and then he turned right back and said, "Oh, okay." He was all like, "Get the fuck out of my space," or something like that. I was like, "Okay."
Yes. Yes.
Like,
I
my bad.
I can't imagine being a medium and just hearing people.
Yeah.
That
No,
would drive me insane.
I don't want that.
No, that's okay. You can have that talent.
Yeah.
I'll just pay you to get it, get messages every once in a while, and then I can just send you away when I'm done.
Right. I'm glad if you want to give me ideas in the light of day for
Correct.
these stories. I don't actually want to receive them from the other side.
Right. Exactly. Have we talked about this? Have you been to a psychic or a medium?
I have been to a psychic once.
Or
I was
shitty?
they were the strangest. So my boss at the time was seeing this spiritual healer, and she did a lot of chakra opening and crystals and massage, and I don't know. She had a lot of services, but one of them was this thing where a spirit would take possession of her body, but it was a very sweet and loving spirit named Malachi. And Malachi had like a Scottish brogue accent, and he was very warm and gentle and caring. And if you had questions, he would answer. And the pièce de résistance of this experience is that when the spirit would enter the woman's body, she would start to tremble
Oh shit.
like this, and you're holding her hands, and so you're getting this hand massage for as long as the spirit's going. And none of them actually told me that would happen, so I was completely unprepared for it when it happened. And so then I just started asking the dumbest questions because I lost my mind. I was only like 25 at the most, and anyway, I'll never forget that as long as I live, because I had been expecting again to meet Whoopi Goldberg and sit around a crystal ball and hear Madame Leo to tell me some things. That was not what this woman was selling, and what an experience.
Do you think she was legit?
I don't know if she was legit, because the questions I asked her were the mindless questions of a 25-year-old that had no meaning.
Yeah.
So like I didn't have my elderly brain here that could actually determine if she was lying.
Maybe we should go to one.
Okay. Oh, I've been to others. No, my God, you're jogging my memories.
Okay.
You know, I had a stroke, girl. They don't all come right away. My friend Fran, the girl that I went to the Whaley House, there's a little mezcal bar in Old Town down the street next to the cemetery. And one night we went there and they had a tarot card reader. So we went in there, and now this woman was legit. This woman started telling Fran things about her sister, and Fran was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I turned, I'm like, she's talking about your sister that just died. And Fran like lost her mind because it was so accurate. And then the one she did on me was so accurate. And this is me as an old person. I gave her nothing to go on. She was reading those cards. I don't know what, saint she was praying to make this happen, but that girl knew what she was doing.
Wait, where was this? San Diego?
San Diego. It's down the street from the Whaley House.
Oh my God, we need to go.
Oh, no, when you come, that's where we're eating for sure.
Hell yeah. Okay, I have.
And then in the back of it, there's a little speakeasy called Occulto. And you walk in and like, you walk up to this, they put you behind this curtain, and there's like this screen, like you're in a confessional, like a Catholic confessional. Yeah. And you have to tell them your sins in order to get in.
Interesting.
It's such a fucking awesome place. I love it. I can't wait till we go.
Did you tell your sins?
Oh,
were you there for like hours?
No, you only have to tell them one or two.
Okay. Shit, what are my sins?
They're like, confess your sins. I'm like, here we go, girl.
Here we go. Sit down. Are you ready? Oh my God. Oh, because I want to go to like a medium, but like for me, I'm just not mature enough to be holding hands with a woman who starts shaking. I would laugh.
And that would be a perfectly reasonable response.
I'm just not that mature. I am there if like it's super subtle, like the tarot card reading, all good. I just can't with performances that are not meant to be performances. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like you can't bring me to like slam poetry, interpretive dance. You can't do that.
You're not the one, girl.
I'm not the one. So anybody who's like a little over the top, like I don't want that. I want like super cool, low key, tell me what you think. And I like that you didn't tell her anything.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more legit.
I let Fran go first because she's into them. She's seen a lot of psychics because, she has these spiritual experiences where she sees ghosts and feels ghosts. So like she has turned to them many times to help her better understand the situation going on with her. And at first, like Fran was like, I'm not, are you getting anything out of this woman? I'm like, are you kidding me? She just described the thing you were bitching about 2 days ago to me.
So what, like her sister was coming through?
Yes, like she had a sore relationship with her sister in the past few years, and at the end, the sister passed away, and there was a lot of unresolved tension between them. And the medium just started describing all the events that Fran had described to me, but Fran could not see what the hell she was talking about until I said the word. She's talking about your sister. Fran lost her mind. because then it
That
all
is
clicked.
that is so weird that she wasn't making the
She
connection.
was not making the connection. She wasn't able to. I don't know. Maybe she didn't understand the woman's accent or something. Just, she was not following along. But when she got it, like it was crazy. And then when she did me, I sat there. I was like, "You are so fantastic."
Wait, what was she saying about you, if you don't mind me asking?
She was talking about a relationship I had at work, and at the time, I was actively working to get someone fired. Don't yell at me. Um, and
Bully, bully.
she pointed out certain elements of it that I won't say aloud, but that were absolutely true, and that I was sort of withholding from the people that I was puppeting into accomplishing certain deeds for
Oh,
me.
you're
Sometimes I use
saying
psychology for evil, girl. Don't judge. How dare you? You know,
no,
I
I
just need
feel
the
your
world to be a better
judgment.
place. Right. Like some people don't have the balls to make things happen as they should. I am a freedom fighter. I'm about the employee and their benefits and their happiness. And so if I have to,
God.
stretch the truth here and there to make things happen, I will.
You were puppeting. I love that you chose that word. You were puppeting.
Stop exposing me.
Notice how that word slipped right out. Oh my God. So yeah, I want to see one. I don't know, like, would it be nice to hear from like my brother or my dad, but like I don't really know if I want the future or I want like weird closure. I don't know what I would want. That's why I think I'm afraid to go because I feel like that would hinder the reading because I don't know what I want, maybe. Like I'm confused. I don't know. I don't know how these people work.
Yeah, it depends on who you go to. Some people know that you want resolution. They'll ask you, what are you here for?
Right.
Sometimes,
Oh,
and if you're like, I want to talk to my dead brother, they'll try finding another relative, in the
right.
canon of their fakeness or their realness, whatever they are,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they'll go that way. But what I liked about this tarot card reader is she just laid out her thing. She made you do the shake the bones, whatever. I couldn't remember what it was. And then you pick the cards that were important to you. She'd pull them up. She'd read them. She's like, okay, what this tells me is this, that, and the other thing. And then she'd be, do you know anybody that does A, B, C, or D? And you'd be like, sure. And then she would start narrowing it down to it. And then she would find the one specific behavior or action they had done to you recently that helped you pick immediately who they're talking about. And then they would tell you more about it. This woman never asked me anything that I did. She just wanted to know, do you know this? Do you know this? And she pieced
Oh.
what I knew into the feedback, which was
Right.
so absolutely dead on about the
Damn.
scenario and situation that I told her nothing about. I was like, fuck, we need more mezcal because this is great.
Wow. So is she still around, do you think? When did this
Probably.
happen?
Oh, this was pre-COVID, so I don't know if
Okay.
she's there anymore, but
Damn it.
um, I'm sure I could find her on the
Because
internet.
I had a medium on the show. She used to go to my high school and like she found out she was a medium later. Before she thought she was just having weird shit happening, but then she found out she was a medium later. But it's just interesting, like I wonder if we could all do that. That's always what I wonder. Like I wonder if we could all have it, but some people are just a little bit more in tune. And I also wonder if when ghosts come out, I wonder if that is also the person that happens to be there. Is that like a
Hmm.
certain energy? You know how some people never see ghosts? They were like, I don't see shit. But then some people, it seemed like, when they go somewhere, like I really feel like that ghost hunter show because they catch so much shit. Like I feel like one of them has something. I wonder.
Hmm.
So I
And they're
always
just
wonder, like,
drawn to them.
yeah. And so I always wonder, like, what would happen if I go to like a haunted place? If there's something or I'm just like, nah, and it's just people are like, oh, she's not getting it.
She's not the one.
She is not the one. She's not gonna see shit. I've only been on like one ghost hunt and nothing really happened, but you know, I keep trying. I will have to do the Whaley House one.
We're gonna go to the Whaley House with Fran at night. I can't wait.
Yeah. The one thing I did miss about this particular show was they didn't have EVPs.
Mm.
So like when they ask questions and they have a tape recorder or something, a digital recorder, a tape recorder.
I love
Hi,
you.
my name. All right. Hello, kids. Let me tell you about a tape recorder.
Bust out my reel to reel.
So they will digitally record it, and then later, like you listen to it and you can hear like responses.
Mm-hmm.
I think like one of the best ones was on Ghost Hunters, where it wasn't even an EVP. They heard it, and it was a clear girl laughing, a
Mm-hmm.
little girl laughing, which is your favorite. Uh,
Always.
a little girl laughing. They were walking into a room, and in the side of the room it basically started to close off. So there was nothing, it was just narrowing into nothing. And as they're going there and they kind of peek over, it sounded like somebody was laughing really far down, but it didn't go that far.
Hmm.
And then when they listened to the EVP later, not only was there laughing, but there was also like talking, like murmuring underneath before the laugh. And so I wish they would have recorded digitally. I bet you they would have heard, instead of poor Chip yelling it into their ear. I bet they would have heard an EVP or something. Would you join me for another show about the Missouri State Penitentiary, but ghost hunters?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So what did you get? What did you think about Portals to Hell? This was your first show, and it was my second show with them.
Um, maybe the rest of the series and everything else he does is garbage, but this one was incredible. It was the best one I've ever seen of any ghost hunting show ever. I was so, it takes, I'll admit I'm a fragile pussycat, and it's not hard to scare me, when you have editing and production value and all those things. But this assemblage of people just worked perfectly. I loved every minute of it. I even loved the tour guides because they were just reasonable people. They're like, yeah, that happens, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's like old news to them. That like they've been doing that now for a decade. They're like, sure, yeah, no, well, there might be still something there. Yeah. So like they weren't even trying to sell this to you. It just happened organically, and it was so gratifying. I had to watch it twice. It was so good.
Yeah, yeah, I really liked it, and I love the very low key vibe. Like you said, I feel like when it's more, there's so much sound and there's so much drama. I feel like that's when it's less things are happening,
That
because it's
that that's what you're hitting on right now. What they do is like they use the sound effects during the initial tour, like the fake thing that the tour guides are giving them. When they go into it, they turn all the sound effects off.
Yes.
And then you're like shitting your pants because you're hearing you're hearing their own breathing as they're, getting nervous. It was great.
Yeah, like, and you're in it with that was always my complaint, was like, stop playing that music because I want to be in it with them. So
Exactly.
in Portals to Hell, it's like you're in there with it, and every little thing you can hear. It's
You
fantastic.
you hear every tap, every door close, you hear everything.
Yeah. And I like that Jack and Katrina, they're both kind of the same energy. Like
Yeah.
they want to know what's going on, but also they don't get super scared easily. And they don't say whether or not like, oh my God, I totally believe this, but they
Hmm.
don't totally not believe it either. They're the perfect kind of neutral, and then,
Objective. Yeah.
later, yeah, objective, sorry, yeah. So
They
yeah,
they
I liked it.
what I liked about Katrina the most is that it's as if she takes it professionally. Like she's not going there for a fun or, a spooky time. She's going there like, no, I'm going to find this. If it's here, I'm
Yeah.
going to find it. So if there's a door slam, she walks over to it and she addresses it calmly. Like, I hear that. Can you do that one more time? Like she's trying to find some logical order to how things are happening there.
Yeah, I really liked it. And I feel like Jack was like, just in this particular episode, I don't know about other episodes, but I feel like Jack almost got it almost seems like Katrina wanted to go and Jack just kind of like begrudgingly went because he was so scared. Like he was so quiet. Like
They were
he was
they were
I think he was
nervous when they
scared.
got down to hell for sure.
Definitely. I think he was so scared because I mean, if it looks scary on TV,
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it looks like in person.
Like we didn't have smell-o-vision, so we couldn't smell the sulfur with them.
Yes, yes. So yeah, I really liked it. I'm gonna watch another episode and see if this is kind of like an ongoing thing. I think it is. It's not like I don't expect them to be like all screaming in the next episode. But this was a good episode to start with.
I noticed there's a Bigfoot special that he's done. So,
Ooh.
like next time we do Bigfoot, we should do that one.
Oh, that is a good one. Which, by the way, guys, if you follow me on TikTok, I have a Bigfoot inspirational calendar for sale.
Which I have
It,
right here on my desk.
oh no, that's the journal. This is
Oh, you
new.
have a calendar? Oh no, I have
Oh
the journal.
yes. Yes. So the journal, there's a new edition coming out with a new cover. So that's for next year, or hopefully in the next couple weeks. Amazon is approving the cover.
Okay.
But I did make a calendar with inspirational sayings. Basically, some of the sayings that was from the journal I made into a calendar. So,
Sweet.
yeah, so that's available on my TikTok shop and also available on Wait What podcast.com under the merch tab. Merch, bitch. Joey, thank you so much for joining me. I know you are sleepy, sleepy little pumpkin because you wake up so early
I
before you
waited up an
fall
hour
dead.
after bedtime just for you.
Thank you. I know you do that, so I try to start it as early as possible.
And I love you for that.
Thank you for joining me.
All right, darling. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Listeners, thank you for listening. We will see you next Friday. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Wait, What Are You Watching? This podcast was produced, edited, researched, and hosted by me, Elaine Cheney. I would really appreciate it if you could help me continue to create and grow by subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. See you next week.